Good afternoon, folks. We are currently deep within the Pajarito Mountains, right on the southern border of Arizona. We're out here on the lookout for vine snakes. It is 94 degrees currently, fairly dry still. There is some cloud cover that looks to be moving in. I don't know if it'll actually amount to anything, but fingers crossed, we might see something while we're out here. There's a couple of lizards running up the tree. A really pretty butterfly puddling in the moist dirt down here. It's a good sign that there's still wetness like this right here. Look at that wing underside. Gorgeous. Here's a dead one of those butterflies. We can see the underside. Now, that is most incredible looking. Oh my god. That is a beautiful butterfly. We got some teensy tiny little ground doves over there, poking around after something. There was a lizard nearby too, but I'm not sure where he went. There were a couple of doves over here. Got an elegant earless lizard running around over here. Yeah, come on, camera. He's heading this way. I might be able to catch him. That is gorgeous. Well, it took quite a bit of finagling, but there we go. Holbrookia elegans. The elegant earless lizard. First reptile in hand, new species. Beautiful little chevrons running down the back and those pretty side blotches. So we won't keep him too long, of course. We'll just let him down right back here. There he goes. Though that day and the day before were relatively dry, evidence of previous storms having come through were pretty much everywhere. Flowers were all along the banks, the soil was still moist, and so I had hoped that that moisture would bring out a lot of the animals in the area. Walking down the washes, I could see species that are a lot more common when you head further south down into Mexico and only just barely make it up into Arizona. But the reptiles, other than lizards, remained a little on the sparse side. One of many whiptail species. This guy looks like he's shedding his tail, or his skin on his tail there. These guys are way too fast for me to catch, but you can get some videos. Not as green as a couple of the ones I've seen down here, but nice stripes. Found this little bright purple beetle. He's dead, but kind of reminds me a little bit of the brilliant yellow one that flew into the car last night. A lot of metallic colors. Very interesting. Very different from the fungus beetles that I otherwise am familiar with these colors on. Gotta say, this isn't quite what you picture when you think far south Arizona either. Granted, you come just up out of the wash here and it looks very different, but there's a little lizard over there somewhere. He just climbed up the tree. But it is like an eastern forest over here, just a little warmer at the moment. I just found the tiniest little pool of water over here. And there are fish galore in here. I don't know how they're surviving in this small a pool, but there they are. And I have no idea what kind of fish either. Weird. I'm going to take a wild guess that these guys are probably quite toxic, whatever they are. Interesting little caterpillars. I have no idea what they'll turn into, though. There's that guy.
And then they're feeding on stuff down here. Not sure what that vine is at all. Cool looking things though. Oops. Don't know what he's got, but the whiptail's got something. And we got deer, mama and little baby. Missed a fox earlier too, and a very large squirrel. There they go. Come on, focus camera. I think that's a phenopepla. Come on, camera. One of the hummingbirds feeding on the flowers over here. And he's gone. And I got a good view of one of the spiny lizards running up the tree. Funky looking little guy. I can't quite tell what species that would be though. Got a deer staring at me. Just under where I saw the cardinal's southern relative, and he's disappeared now, so I have no idea where he went. There's a little bird that just landed up there though. Another one of you guys. Still haven't found what we're looking for, but I might have to really be watching the weather here. I'm not sure which direction the storm is going. I mean, personally, it looks like it's heading towards the valley where the Buenos Aires refuge is, but if it starts moving this direction, I may have to skedaddle. Although that might let me come up the first portion of Ruby Road again after it rains, because there's definitely some significant cloud cover the other direction too. And I don't know, we'll have to see. Alright, I don't know if this is fasciation or what's going on, but we've got this monster of a barrel cactus in here who looks to be prepping some incredible flowers. He's got all sorts of growths off the side there. Rather interesting.
So that storm that I was watching never did actually head my way. It got close enough we could hear the thunder, but it continued to just kind of hang a little bit further south-southwest. So I got to drive back down the road to see beautiful sunset as I traveled back, but still no snakes showing up until finally, way late at night, stuff started moving.
Oh, look at that. Some gorgeous blacktail. Wow. Okay. Hold on, sir. Hold on. I want to get some photos, will ya? Hold on for me. Alright, where's my other light? There we are. Alright, we've got a black-tailed rattlesnake cruising out here. It's been like 7 hours and I finally got the first snake. This is perhaps the prettiest one I have ever seen too. They're pretty common out here from what I've heard. So no surprise we saw one.
Unfortunately, he was in a real hurry for reasons unknown, so he didn't stick around for me to get any good photos, so enjoy what I've got, hopefully. But this really was a beautiful, really high contrast blacktail. They come in kind of two different color forms in Arizona. The montane forms, which have these higher contrast colors more frequently, and then down in the lower deserts, they often have much lighter, sandier colors to kind of adapt to the environment they're in.
So I got a young desert king here.
Yeah.
The variety that should turn black eventually as a what they call the Mexican black kings up here. Hopefully we can see an adult soon.
So is it
But
like slow?
gorgeous animal. It was actually found by somebody else out here and they're letting me see it. You can see how it's starting to kind of change color in the back, but beautiful snake. We're going to let the other person who showed up see it for a little bit too.
And I really wish we had found an adult because it would have shown exactly why. The snakes down here really kind of throw a lot of people for a loop. Those in the herpetoculture trade who know about Mexican king snakes or Mexican black king snakes know that usually the ones that people really like to go after, they start out hatching out almost completely black, maybe a couple of black, yellowish lines, and then as they grow up they turn solid black. The snakes in this area where I was at often turn solid black as well with age, but they start out when young looking basically like other young desert king snakes with a lot of that yellowish color in them. These guys have a black belly that your average desert king doesn't really have, and I mean solid black. So that is one thing to show, but this is effectively an intergrade zone where the two different subspecies are merging with each other and exchanging genes.
Well, no surprise, I think, that the next snake is a baby diamondback, who we're going to pick up now and move off the... Ooh, he's biting the thing. That's the first time one's really landed a hit like that, but there we go. You may go, sir. Go on. And we got another little diamondback here, who we're just gonna scoop up and put off of the road. There he goes. He's trying to rattle. Sir, you need to go off the road. Go that way. Yeah, go that way. There he goes. Alright, trying to wrangle him a little bit here. And it's being difficult. But with the help of a couple other herpers that have been out here, we found ourselves Crotalus tigris, the tiger rattlesnake. Native to south central Arizona, recorded partly in the Palencios even of New Mexico somehow, and then they sweep kind of south through northern Mexico. This is a gorgeous tiger-striped snake, hence the name. And they are actually, drop for drop, the most venomous rattlesnake, possibly venomous snake, in North America. Possibly most venomous rattlesnake overall. Yes, even more so than the Mojave rattlesnake. However, you can see that tiny little head compared to his body. They don't have that big of a venom yield, and because they love living up in rocky areas, deep canyons and washes and stuff where not a lot of people tend to hang out too often, they're not really considered that overall a danger to people. Plus, they are overall a relatively quiet, placid animal as well. This guy's still a young one, but absolutely gorgeous nonetheless. They can get up to about 2.5, maybe 3 feet long, maybe a little more. This one's only about 2 feet or so, if that. So he's got quite a ways to grow. We got a little bit of a peachy, pinky color to him. Let's see if I can get this light to show more accurate. There we go. That's about the color that he really is. Kind of that pinky tones underneath ashy grays. Absolutely gorgeous snake. Anyway, we've kind of wrangled and bothered him long enough, so we'll get a photo or two more and then leave him be.
Yes, while I missed out on the vine snake this time, we did find my other big target for the day, which was the tiger rattlesnake, because this was my last chance on this trip to see this species, and this was my first one. And a beauty it was too. This is a great species to show though. Even though a snake can be extremely toxic, they're not necessarily dangerous to people depending on how they behave as well as how we behave. These guys don't live in areas where a lot of people tend to live. They like really craggy areas, lots of cliff sides and rocks and stuff, places that aren't quite as good for building houses. Although certainly they do live in several of the big cities in Arizona, including Tucson and Phoenix. And they do have an extremely powerful venom. The LD50, the lethal dose volume, has been measured as low as 0.07 milligrams per kilogram, compared to the Mojave, which is around 2 to 6 milligrams per kilogram, so significantly more potent. However, small yield, relatively docile snake that doesn't like to live around people. Not a whole lot of issues with this species and human interaction.
Let's see if we can kind of record his leaving here. He was heading up this way, and he knows I'm coming, so he's just going to kind of poke along into the weeds here. You may go, sir. Yeah, up there is good. There's a nice batch of weeds for you to hide in over there. Okay? There you go. What a gorgeous animal. So I know it's a little weird, but tried taking a different route and it didn't work out. But if we watch over near the lights here, every now and again you might see something flicker by in the light, because there's some really big bats. There was one feeding on the stuff that's flying around near the lights. You might be able to hear them, but probably not see them. There's a bunch of javelina up there. Can't really see them at this distance though. They're up on the hillside. You might see eye shine. Actually, the second time they've crossed the road, there's a couple eyes. Alright, one last interesting little find, I guess, before we sign out. Check out this chunky moth on the hotel wall. I know there's some big silk moths out here too, and this guy wouldn't compare to that, but he's still pretty huge compared to everything else that's on the wall. Well, other than the couple kind of crappy shots I tried taking of some of the other wildlife that showed up tonight, missed out on what were either the weirdest little foxes I've ever seen or ringless ringtails. I'm not sure, but other than those guys, fewer snakes today, but we finished with one of the big targets for today, so that's great news, and perhaps made a couple of new friends, which is also nice. Tomorrow, I think I might actually take one last brief drive up that road, just to see if by some miracle I can pull off a vine snake, but otherwise we'll be heading further east again and heading towards, I believe, the Huachuca Mountains tomorrow,
We'll see if we can pull off some of the montane rattlesnakes that are up there. It's the last chance for the Arizona ridge nose for this trip. There will be one less shot at the twin spots, but if we can get them tomorrow, that's great. And maybe a green rat snake this time around. We'll see. But until then, if you enjoy seeing videos like this, enjoy educational materials and helping support wildlife education and so on, consider joining as a patron at patreon.com/hcarlton, or donating. One-time donations can also be taken at Ko-fi. The links for those will be in the video description below. Members at Patreon, though, do get exclusive benefits back, including access to the seed contests I do every month, early access to the videos, and more. If you can't do that, you can always visit the website, carltoncarnivores.com, buy some of the plants that are there, maybe when I have baby snakes that are available, or resin gem jewelry that's on there. Or if you can't support financially in any way, just liking, subscribing, sharing the videos here, leaving a comment. Attention is always good for the channel. And certainly, if you'd like to see more information, there's the database and blog on the website. And if you'd like to see more photos, little tidbits, short videos, you can always find me on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Carlton Carnivores. But until next time, I'm Hawken Carlton. This is Carlton Carnivores.